Well, hello, friends. We're back, Marketing 1311, for our last couple of lectures on the marketing mix, and we're ending with promotion, communicating value. Now, again, this is what most people believe marketing is, but we know it's just one of the 4 Ps. Very important. We are communicating the value of our product, service, business to our customers in a very consistent mode. So let's jump in to Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A has always been thought of as one of the best customer service organizations in the United States, and it always ranks very high with students because the service is very consistent and usually very friendly. Well, let's jump back to the late 1980s and early 90s. Chick-fil-A needed a creative strategy to communicate their brand's unique value proposition. For most fast food restaurants during that time frame, especially the late 80s, it was pretty much right in here. McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King dominated. It was a quick hamburger that you got for lunch, maybe dinner, and went right back to work. Chicken was not thought of, and certainly chicken sandwiches were somewhat new to the marketplace. So there was KFC. Now that was Kentucky Fried Chicken, but they really didn't do a sandwich either. They just did those finger licking good chicken baskets. So Chick-fil-A needed something different, unique, eye-catching, and memorable. So in 1995, after years of strategizing, they came up with this campaign, which I don't even need to tell you about. Eat More Chicken. The cows, the Renegade Cows. That has been in place for over 25 years. Advertising age, if you are interested in a career in advertising or marketing, Advertising Age is a great reference for that, a great resource tool. They have said the Renegade Cows campaign, probably one of the most successful promotional strategies of all time. Their sales during the last 25 years have increased 600% in a time where the other 3 major fast food restaurants were having a hard time growing their market. $4.6 billion increase. Per store, their sales have more sales per store than a McDonald's. Now that's awfully impressive. So the question is, have we run this campaign into the ground, or does it just keep working? Is it time for a change? Well, maybe time to augment, but certainly, don't throw the cows away, because when you see it, you automatically position, hey, that's Chick-fil-A. The cows don't want to be eaten. Promotion, communicating value, our propositions to our target market. Again, we don't want to throw a ton of different advertisements, social media, whatever it is. We don't want to throw a ton of different ideas to our target market. It must be strategically blended into integrated platforms. It's a crucial element, all right, because we're now engaging our customers to build those relationships. We've got our product or service, we've determined the target market, determined our price, where we're going to distribute that product or service. Now we have to communicate and build a relationship. So absolutely, very important. Promotion has 3 major goals: inform, persuade, remind. Now, if you've taken a speech course ever, and you'll have to in your degree, what are the 2 major speeches that you must complete? Right, the informative speech and the persuasive speech. Is that just because we thought those 2 topics were cool to speak about? Friends, that's what we use in our everyday lives. We are informing our publics. We're informing other people about ourselves. We've got to create awareness about that product or service. Okay? We've got to persuade. All right? Yes, I'm informing you and I'm telling you why you need my product or service. Okay? And I'm trying to complete you to action. And of course, the remind is, do we forget? Oh, we forget very quickly. Remember, the literacy rate in the United States is about a 7th grade reading level. So we have so much coming at us all the time that we have to be reminded. We have to create that customer relationship for repeat purchases, because we know repeat purchases is what grows the business. I cannot have a customer come in one time, buy my product, use my service, and never see them again. Unless you're selling, Lamborghini, which that's probably not the case in most businesses. We need repeat business, and so does the Lamborghini dealer. The strategies here in our promotion: yes, always trying to attract new customers, building that brand, building the recognition. That's why it has to be strategic and consistent. Maybe increasing online followers, all right, increasing our likes, positioning our product. Usage among existing customers, increase that. Create sales lead. Lots of very strategic objectives for our promotional plan and strategy. Well, you have a marketing mix. Okay, let's count that down. We have the product. We have the place where we're going to distribute that product or service. We have the price. All right. We have the promotion. That's what we're in. We also have that person, okay? That is the people, that is you. We are always representing the product. Well, there's 5 elements of the promotional mix. So, this is your new career, congratulations. Or you are helping our great friend Sophia in her food truck, that's our marketing plan case. Or you're doing your own personal case for your own business, great. You can advertise, you have public relations, you have the direct digital marketing, all right? You have personal selling, and of course there's also the sales promotion. Those are the 5 elements in your toolbox that you have to use, that you are able to use. We also need to find a structure, a platform to deliver that promotional mix and make it very, very efficient. So we're going to look at that as well. Okay, let's go back in time. The old communication model. That was mass marketing. Hey, for decades, if you were in this industry, you had 3 pretty much basic medias to advertise. And that is TV, radio, and print. We could just blow that message out there and hit it so hard and hope people would certainly come in. There was really never a way to connect with just that individual right there, right there, right there, right there. It was very difficult. We just had to, unless you're in the personal sales, but this is advertising, so could reach millions of potential customers. Now, it is expensive, like that Super Bowl advertisement that we've talked about earlier in the semester. That first 30-second ad on the Super Bowl may have topped $8 million this year, and that's a ton of money. But if that ad reached, let's say, 100 million population that saw it, then all of a sudden you say, well, that ad probably wasn't too much because, of the reach it had. I'm going to go ahead and try to look at it. That would be 8 cents a customer. I just pulled out my calculator. 8 cents a customer to reach with that ad. And so all of a sudden you say, hey, that's a pretty good return on your advertisement. Now we've got to come in and buy that product as well. But we have so much newer communication model, and this is what you'll be working with in your careers. This is what you work with in your business. And again, great careers are being developed. So again, that social media, that brand manager. We have the advancements in technology. We have consumers changing, and of course, changing marketing strategies. So let's look at that. We can reach smaller segments. Now we actually can have a one-on-one relationship, theoretically. And again, we do that with the algorithms and the bots that are out there that continually send you texts and emails every day about what you might like based on what others like because you fit in that algorithm, and of course what you've purchased before. So we can use both traditional, all right? We can use the traditional media, but we can also have professionals in the online digital world, and that could be you. Okay, so there's our brand content managers. We're creating and inspiring brand messages, and we're starting the conversations. And what we're really doing is telling a story. And when you tell a story, you want to make sure it's one everyone can understand and everyone would really like. What stories are we telling? What narratives do we have, my friends? Is TV still very powerful in the advertising world? Yes, absolutely it is. In 2018, it was a 36% share of all advertising dollars spent. 36% of the total went to TV. So it's still very, very powerful. But a couple of years ago, 2018, 2017, the movement changed to digital marketing, which now takes over a 37% share, and it's growing. By 2025, 46% of all expenditures in the promotional advertising world will run through digital marketing. Again, websites, ad searches, your emails, your texts, your social media. Again, many of you, this may be a career that you want to explore in customer experience, and so it's only growing, my friends. I don't know if any of you use the Method cleaners. I'm a big fan of Method because it uses botanicals and organic substances, so it's very non-toxic, but yet it cleans very well your household items as well as laundry. And I liked it because it just had super cool packaging, very easy to use, and you know, cool logos right in there. That was their Clean Happy campaign. When they introduced this product, they bypassed TV and traditional radio advertising. So this was one of the, I guess you would call, one of the original or landmark cases that can it be done? Can you grow a brand new product simply by using digital media and bypassing the big radio and TV? They focused on these mediums: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and of course in-store displays. Okay, that's your end caps, and that sales representative or your stocking representative goes in there. First year promotion expenditures, $3.5 million. So for all of this, they spent about 3.5, and of course, probably a lot of it was in the in-store display because you're literally making those end caps, and they can get they can get expensive after every store you hit. What is Procter and Gamble, the biggest consumer company in the world? They basically outlay $150 million for a new product for its first year expenditures. Wow, 3.5 to 150 million. This is not all Procter and Gamble's stores there. Excuse me, let me get my wording right. They're a new product. That's just for one product, not their whole line. There we go. We've got it now. So that's amazing, my friends. This does work, and you can see you need a very highly educated brand manager to make sure this all flows together, and that could be you. So what is our new model? All right, our new model is brand content manager. This is your new career for those interested in going into this field. You're creating a unified message to the target customer. Because we're using social media, we're using digital media, it needs to be very consistent with everything else we do, our public relations, okay, our other advertising. We are trying to inspire and create these messages and share among a big fluid mix. So what we have is called the new model: paid, owned, earned, and shared. So this is how the promotional mix will fit in. This is how we distribute that, so to speak, our mode. So POES, and this is what we're going to use for our marketing plan. All right, paid media. These are things that we would actually pay for. Sophia would pay for her in her food truck. You would pay for it for your business, or if you're managing a brand or in your organization, things we pay for. Traditional media, absolutely, that's paid for. TV ads, we pay for that. We pay for radio. We pay for print. All right, we may also pay for mail-outs, absolutely. Billboards, things that are paid in the traditional media world. What about the digital media? Well, paid search ads. Those Google search ads are what makes Google so wealthy. We hit that, okay, so we could certainly pay for that. We want to make sure that when someone Googles our name, that we are first in line, or certainly some of the first that get up there, and that's how that really helps. You can also pay for your Facebook ads, your Twitter ads, your Instagram ads, mobile ads, email campaigns. Again, this is what we're paying for directly for every time we would use that service. Okay, so that's where those would fit in. Do we own anything? Of course you do. Promotional channels that are owned, and I like to say controlled by the organization. All right. You have your website. If I haven't said it before, I'll say it again. Have you thought of that cool name for your business? It doesn't matter if that business is going to start next year or 5 years from now. You need to lock up that domain name as fast as you can. So, again, for less than $50 for 2 years or right about that amount, I think it's important to lock up that intellectual property that you have of your name. And if you have to trademark it, if it's that great, look into those ideas. So our websites, our blogs, it's a great way to increase your search engine optimization right there. What are you blogging about from your business? Okay, your social media pages, again, have you secured those names for your business idea? So we own that. We own special events. You could also say we own our sales force. That's a little picture of a sales force down there. You pay them. They are on company payroll, and you have control. All right. So we'll put our sales right in here. Anything you have direct control over should fall under your own media. So we have paid, owned. We have 2 more channels that we can utilize. We have the earned media. Yes, this is the public relations. These are your media channels. Now, they run through TV, radio, print, newspapers, magazines, blogs, emails. You're not controlling it and you're not paying for it. These are what stakeholders say about your company. Now, you can create a very positive influence by being proactive, and we will look at that. Again, you have to earn this media. So these are the great things that people will write up about you and your business ideas. Maybe you're helping in Sophia's case. It could be a Habitat for Humanity day. Again, we have that big day of service. That's usually the 1st of April. And of course, where we're in right now, coming into April 2020, that's probably going to be postponed. But maybe Sophia can just load up with her vegan tacos and say, hey, I'm going to sponsor this groups as a building or refurbishing a house for somebody. I got this group. This block right here is mine, and I'm giving away my food. Again, I'm giving back to the community. So, earned media. The good things that we would love other people to say about us. We have a final channel. That's called the shared channel. All right? These are what customers say about our company. All right? These are the reviews. Again, these are what people share on their social media. Maybe they blog about us, okay? These things can go viral. It's the old word of mouth. Wow, I love Sophia's vegan food truck. It is the best. I'm a follower. I'm getting my online ratings, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. How many likes? So shared. Sometimes, we have to monitor this because, as you well know, probably much more than I would, how fast something gets on fire through the social media networks. And if it's bad news, we have better figure out a way to turn that into good news real quick. What your customers say about your company. Paid, owned, earned, shared media. This is how that promotional mix will fit in, and this gives us a nice organization of which area do we want to spend a lot of our time in. Every area needs to be spent time in, but where can we capitalize? Where can we find the opportunities? According to the great late J. Conrad Levinson, author of Guerrilla Marketing, it takes about 8 touches to purchase a new idea, or even a new idea to catch on, or a new product or service. So 1 touch could easily be, wow, I got an Instagram ad that I looked at. Okay, I saw it. A friend told me about it. Okay, I'm getting some text and emails about it. Maybe I've actually even touched the product in an in-store display. I've done a sample. Somewhere around 8 for you to finally say, you know what, I think I want to purchase that. So keep that in mind. This is a game of numbers. You have to work very hard. And for anyone who has been in the professional sales force, in the business-to-business sales force, I could tell you many more stories than I could of how difficult it is to get that first customer. And again, our goal is to keep that customer for life. So let's look at some of the nature of the tools of promotion. Let's go ahead and count it down again start with advertising. All right. What we're doing right there, getting that megaphone, and we're just blowing the message out. There's many who will listen to it, and even if they don't or somehow hear it, that is, we can reach masses of buyers at low cost exposure. Even though those 100 million people who watched that ad during the Super Bowl, the very first one, let's say, uh, they may not have been paying great attention, but it got in their mind somehow. It did auditory or visually imprint in their brain. So it is low cost exposure. We just figured it out. It was 8 cents a person. We have to keep hitting that probably more than one or two times for us to build that long-term image of the product. So be very careful how we do it. It is impersonal, all right? I'm not really persuading like a salesperson would, but we're getting that message and we're increasing the awareness and creating that awareness of that product or service. If we look, we're going to kind of look at the personal selling side because it's a little, somewhat dichotomous of the advertising because this is very personal. We are interacting with at least two or more people. Again, I know a lot of students don't think that I'm going to get into a sales career. That's what I want, and that's a shame because again, I think it's probably one of your faster routes to a six-figure income, certainly in the business-to-business world. So let's look at this. All sorts of relationships to spring up. You have to be high energy and positive, and if you can deal with rejection, this could be a great career for you. If you're competitive, this can be a great career for you. You can adjust the message. That's what is so amazing and important about personal selling. And we'll take this into another degree in our next video. But let's just say she just got a text that, hey, we were undercut by our competition for this bidding process that we're going through by 5%. So amp up the service that we're going to provide, tell them why, now persuade them why our price point may be a little higher, but you're going to get so much more out of that versus going in blind and not having any idea. It is expensive when we look at the tool because it's, industry standards basically say in the business to business world, it's at least $600 for every sales proposal that a salesperson makes. And that number depends on what industry we're looking at. Could be higher, maybe a little lower. But when we look at that, that means I may make 20 sales proposals, okay? And will all 20 buy my product? Wouldn't that just be great? No, maybe one buys it. But the one company that buys the product pays for everything else, pays for your $600 when you look at salary, expenses, et cetera, et cetera. When you aggregate that money, it is the most expensive form of the promotional tool because it's the most interactive, it's the most relationship building, and it's the most adjustable type of message that we have in the promotional mix, makes it the most expensive. Sales promotion. This is also obviously a way to promote our product. What we're trying to do here is quick incentives, all right? Purchase today. It's a very short-lived effect. We looked at that in our pricing because we got to be very careful how we do this. We don't want to just psychologically make someone only buy on sales. So it's not really relationship. Hey, if this were the fall semester, so fall semester, we're coming into Christmas, we know it is the world of sales promotion. It ends very quickly, right? We're looking from October, November, and December to sell so much of our items. And so, again, into the summer sale, et cetera, et cetera. We're just trying to clear out products and merchandise. And again, trying to create quick demand. Come today and you get 20% off my lawn service on Tuesday for trying to get new customers. Public relations, this is a career that many of you may like. This is a little different because we're not trying to increase sales. I mean, that's not the motive here. We are trying to manage and damage control, manage perceptions, make ourselves to have good business practices so our earned relationships come up. That means we earn that media. And again, we're managing the stakeholders there. So that's what we look in the public relations world. Again, we're going to delineate each one of these in these two videos. Digital and direct marketing. All right, very targeted, very interactive, immediate, and personalized. As we look at promotion, technically, traditionally, these are the two modalities, so to speak. The push-pull strategy. And we might look at it from the producer standpoint. Okay, they're working directly, instead of working with the customer or appealing directly to the customer, we're appealing to our retailers and our wholesalers in the traditional world. Okay, that is personal selling. I sell right. I'm going right to my retailers and say, hey, I'll give you trade promotions. Whoever sells the most, we may give you a little extra money too. And we're going to provide you with those, again, end caps for in-store displays, other things that we have. The retailer in turn pushes it right down to the consumer. Okay, that is, we're personal selling, we're advertising, we're doing the sales promotion as well as those consumers come in. So it's a sort of pushing down the chain, so to speak. Now, the producer can say, I'm going to go right to the consumer and try to pull the demand through. All right, that means we have coupons, so our sales promotion is right at the consumer, and they'll pull it through the stores. And so is there one way only? No, we use both of these. Again, philosophical ways. How am I going to get that information to the customer? Can I push it to the retailers, and let the retailers and wholesalers, again, get it to the consumer? Can I go right to the consumer and pull them in? The push-pull strategy. Might want to think about that on an exam. Well, our advertising objectives. Informative. Okay, we talked on our products, the high dynamic range television. Okay, that is going to be interesting because they're so expensive right now. We've got to communicate that value to the product We got to create awareness of it. We have to build the brand and company image and explain how that product works. This may be a little tougher sell because many of us are very happy with our TVs that we have right now that do very well. I mean, do I need the billion colors? Is the price point just, I can't take that $8,000 for the 65 inch? Again, maybe when it comes down to the $1,000 mark, okay, I can now see the value. I can now, know how it works a little bit better. So you may have some tough sledding on this for the mass market. We have inform. Remember, this is persuasion. I can't leave it off with, I think you would like this. You have to say different worlds in the selling world. Do you want to grow your business? You need to advertise and come with me. You need my product. So persuasive advertising. I'm trying to get you to purchase. I'm trying to get that engagement. I may have to ask you to switch your brand. All right. And this is interesting. If you go back and look at the comparative and attack advertising, which is basically the sole use of politics anymore, and as you're voting for a candidate, we just attack the hell out of the opponent. So do we do that in the consumer world? Well, Coke versus Pepsi for so long. Hey, Samsung tried to come out with their tablet, and they tried to basically attack the Apple iPad. And as an Apple user, personally, that just made me more happy to be an Apple user. Hey, Samsung's attacking me. I know I've got a really good product. Same way in their phones as well. But careful here is when you use this type of comparative attack, you may be advertising for your competition. Because generally, we talk about the Apple phone for the first 20 seconds of that 30-second ad, and then we're saying, you need to buy Samsung. Well, all I remember was the Apple because you lost my attention. So interesting if this is a career for you. It can work, but it also could kind of backfire a little bit. Other types of advertising, we may have to remind you, all right? I have to remind you that when and where to purchase that product at Christmas time. In the New Year's, I believe champagne sales are their highest ever. 70% of all champagne is purchased during that Christmas holiday season. So we have those reminder ads. Remember to celebrate the season. We have Easter coming up. So those Easter hams that you need, make sure you pre-order it. And again, you can pre-order those online or in the store and have them delivered to you. Again, we had to kind of remind you of the events that are coming. Remember, it's summer. You need sunscreen. You're going to the beach. Reminder advertising. And again, we also remind advertising through just the complete repetition. So it's always in our brains. Friends, there's clutter out there, isn't there? According to the best advertising age and other online medias, your brain sees 5,000 images per day that pertain to advertising. How do you break through it? Interesting, isn't it? I mean, again, even if you see it for a second, it's still in your brain. How do we get people to listen to me, to listen to your business, all right, to your product that you're promoting or selling? Well, we're seeing much more of trying to merge advertising and entertainment, branded entertainment. We actually are placing products in the shows that we like. For years, Buick and the ABC network have done this pretty interesting. This is the show Blackish, which I love. And I think someone got a brand new car, and it was a Buick. I don't know if that's the Enclave. But it went into actually, man, this thing gets 24 miles per gallon, and here's your key. So interesting. Was that just coincidental or happenstance? Not at all. It was definitely strategic and definitely designed that's, hey, well, this cool family's driving it. Maybe I could see myself in that car. I don't know if anyone likes the old series Chuck. It is a cult classic. It's on Prime, Amazon Prime right now, and it's fantastic. That's Zach Levy, who is now Shazam. And the first year, Chuck he did okay. He was in the middle of the road, and it was very close to being canceled. Subway came in and said, you know what? We're going to do something interesting, because Subway directors and CEO, I guess, loved the show. They literally put a Subway in the Buy More. The Buy More is where Chuck works. And during the show, you would always see a Subway, okay? And then if someone was going to eat, they'd say, you know what? I'm going to have that Subway chicken teriyaki today with Italian bread. Very interesting, but they literally underwrote the show for many years until it ended. So if you have never seen Chuck, I think you'll like it. It's pretty cool, but that's exactly how we're trying to break through that clutter. Modern Family. This is the last year of Modern Family. Apple has been a huge promoter of Modern Family. You can always see their products. Several seasons ago, they had one show. It was very creative, just dedicated to FaceTime all their Apple products, and They did an excellent job on it. So again, was that happenstance? Couldn't they have used Adele? Well, why would anyone want to do that? But they could have used something else. But Apple ruled the day on that. Very interesting. How do we break through the clutter, my friends? If this is going to be a career for you, you've got to have something, edge. 5,000 ads per day. How does it stick? How do we shock someone and still get that idea to stick? You know what? If you don't expect it, you may remember it. And it works in public service years ago, maybe decades ago. Now, late 90s, it's always been a problem. Vital organ theft. I mean, people literally stealing your organs. And so the CDC and the WHO, the World Health Organization, tried to put out all sorts of pamphlets, and it was basically young men that were getting Mickey Finned, which means they were given a drink, they went unconscious, and they found themselves in a hospital the next day because someone had stole their organs, and they're selling this on what's called the underground market because, some of these things are sell for $100,000. And so they asked, gentlemen, don't go out by yourself. Make sure you're in a group. Make sure you know your surroundings. Be careful of what you drink. And it did nothing until this basic story started circulating. Young guy. He's at a business meeting. He's on a business trip. So after his day of work, he stops, gets ready, goes down to the hotel, goes to the bar, has a drink. A very attractive young woman comes up and says, hey, I'd love to buy you a drink. Are you in? And he says, of course. And that's the last thing he remembers until he wakes up in his hotel bathtub. He's covered in ice. There's a phone next to him on a little bench. He's groggy. He looks up at the mirror. Written in lipstick says, call 911. I stole your kidney. What color was the lipstick written on the mirror? Did you say red? Because I didn't say that color. Interesting. Is that a shock value right there? Can you identify some things in that story? That story started circulating. And all of a sudden, most young guys who are on business travel just like that paid attention to it in much more value than just a quick little notice from the World Health Organization. Here's a great book for you. It's called Made to Stick. It's from Chip and Dan Heath. It's written in the early aughts. Again, how do we get our ideas? If this is a career, for you, if this is something that we want for our marketing plans, all this promotion we're spending for, how do I know people are really going to hit it? Sticky ideas are unexpected. I didn't, I kind of laid the story out for you though. But that was very unexpected, which means it's going to grab your attention. Use curiosity to keep that listener's attention. The best way to get your ideas to stick is always to tell a great story. Again, for that idea to stick, the audience has to understand it. It has to be unexpected, so they'll pay attention. Okay, I think that was an unexpected idea when he wakes up in a bathtub covered in ice. Now, make it concrete. I think every one of us knows what a bathtub looks like, and we all know what ice feels like. So you could literally picture yourself being covered in ice. You know what the cell phone looks like. Okay, that adds the credibility because this was something that was real. All right, this is something that does happen. You saw that lipstick in your mind, maybe with red, because that's the traditional color of lipstick. Boom. It was very emotional because you may have seen yourself in that picture, and you've got to be able to act it. The story was simple, was not difficult to understand, and it resonated with the audience. Again, that little ad right there saved a lot of lives, literally, in those late 90s and early 80s. Made to Stick, Chip and Dan Heath. If you are interested in a career that involves some sort of marketing or literally using your own business, see how you can break through the clutter. I think that's a great read for you. The types of major media platforms, I've got these in your notes. Again, this just basically lists the medium, the advantages, the limitations. We know that TV is a high absolute cost. All right, it's the lowest cost per exposure. High clutter, and of course the sensitivity, we can turn those things off. We know lots of money and time are putting into online and social media. It would really engage. It is low cost because you're just literally paying for the creativity of a social media manager. So, and hopefully that's a nice 65, 70,000 and up salary for you. The only thing careful, it is difficult to control because someone could take what you're saying and then put it and make it viral in a different way if it becomes an offensive something that came out from the company that they didn't really think about, or their customer service being poor. So that's why you need someone very competent and great in the writing to help control that, always answering those negative viral hits. Other magazines, radios, newspapers, I've got that for you too right in here. How much should we spend? Let's look at Sophia on her marketing budget. There's something called the 10-30-60 rule, again by the great J. Conrad Levinson. And that is, for most of the small entrepreneurial world, we should have 10% of all of our resources, that could be money, your time, your effort, to communicating to everyone within the marketing area. Okay? So, with Sophia's food truck, maybe that's all of Tarrant County. Again, just 10%. Maybe some of Dallas County too. That she believes, so she could hit Instagram ads in Dallas and Fort Worth. Again, trying to geographically put in where she's going to put in that park, where she's going to have her food for the day. Just 10% in a mass area, 30% of resources communicating to those who fit your customer profile. So those who we find our target market, we spend 30% of our monies, our efforts to that one. We spend 60% communicating to those who buy the product. The idea, it's more profitable to make an existing sale to a customer that we've purchased before than to a non-customer. So the majority goes in, and again, this may take some time till we build that customer base, but back to our customers. Yes, we keep ourselves aware in the marketplace and those who look like it, but our repeat customers, certainly in a consumable business like Sophia's, that's where the money should go versus putting everything into trying to find people who have never even heard of your product. Put it right back into it. Again, it's a great guideline. It's the 10-30-60 rule, and that's how to make a nice, quick marketing promotional budget. We're going to stop that lecture right here. I'm going to go into a little more in depth into the public relations, the personal selling, and the sales promotion world in our next video that should finish our marketing mix. You guys make it a great day.